I'm pretty darn sure that you were getting some information yesterday on Tottenham and Harry Kane going to Bayern Munich. You don't need to be a world expert in football to think who you might have been talking to, but let's put that to one side. What can you tell us?
I think there was a general feeling of great disappointment that Harry decided to leave. I think there were lots of moving parts in it, and people around him that were very influential in the decision to make. I think it's a surprise that he's gone to Bayern Munich.
Why was that?
I just think there's a general feeling that there were better options available to him economically at Tottenham than we're getting at Bayern Munich, and also the reality of perhaps he might have been in an even better position in a year's time. But look, all that to one side, I think the main thrust of it was that Tottenham need to turn a page. They've got themselves in a situation where, for one way or another, nobody lasts forever. Some people could argue that keeping Harry Kane for as long as they did was an achievement. Other people would say, well, they should have bloody well won something, and Daniel Levy's useless and he's responsible and culpable for everything that's bad inside the football club. And the outcome of Harry Kane is an inevitability because of the failure at Tottenham Hotspur to achieve things. And there's an argument, there's some substance in that argument, and I understand it. But I think also coming in the door for Postecoglou, you can't have the only story in town being Harry Kane in every single press conference. You can't have a player that's potentially going to consider his options, may look at it again in November, may be prepared to say, I might talk about contract talks again in November. You can't have that. The economic sensibility right behind that won't make sense for Tottenham Hotspur. You're a hostage to fortune. But also, Postecoglou will be in a situation where every single press conference, people won't be able to help themselves. It will be, what's happening with Harry Kane? What's happening with Harry Kane? What's happening with Harry Kane? And any manager coming in that's got a job in hand to correct the ship, to turn the tide, to turn the tide back and turn it into a different set of circumstances that are progressing Tottenham Hotspur, both in winning something or looking like they're going to, but also, equally as importantly, the style of football, isn't going to be helped and added by every press conference being Harry Kane, Harry Kane, Harry Kane. And whilst I think it's pretty safe to say that most managers would want anybody that scores 30 goals in their team and would see it as a loss, they would also see the flip side of it. If it's a sum of diminishing parts.
Yeah.
If you know the player's going to go at some point and all you're going to hear about is what's happening with him, it can be very destructive. So I think Spurs are disappointed. I think they're disappointed that Harry's gone. I think they adored him and they're choked by it. And they're spending money. They've spent 130 million quid on players. I'm not Daniel Levy's mouthpiece, but I do think there's a devout intention to build a football club that works very well and starts to succeed. They'll say, the Tottenham fans will say, well, that's what we've wanted for some time, and that's what we've been told for some time, and that's not what we've got, and we've run out of patience for it. And that's their gift, if that's what they feel. But I think the Harry Kane situation was a disappointment to them. I think there were factors around him, whether it be family influence or maybe not having good enough agents to be able to see a bigger picture than Bayern Munich. And some would say, how can there be a bigger picture than Bayern Munich? They're a Champions League winning side. They dominated German football. Okay, there's arguments in both parts of the equation. But I think it's now a case for Tottenham that they're disappointed to lose him. They did everything they could to try and keep him. They've banked 86, 90 million quid out of it. And the job in hand now is Postecoglou. Everything on Postecoglou, everything about Postecoglou, give him every opportunity to be successful, and the working relationship. Well, a working relationship between two people that actually want to work with one another.
Yeah.
You've got a 4-year contract.
Yeah.
I've always maintained since that decision was made, and I think it's a good decision, that you've got a relationship that could actually work here, because you've got somebody that wants to work for Tottenham Hotspur, and you've got Tottenham Hotspur wanting him to work for them. So you're in an equitable position. You haven't got some highfalutin manager like Conte or Mourinho coming in the door, doing everybody a favour for £15 million a year, and then finding that they don't like it and setting it all on fire. This relationship, now, if this relationship blows up in flames and we hear Postecoglou trotting out the same tropes as we've heard previously about the culture, the attitude, the chairman, but if he does, because if his stock is high and he's all of a sudden Tottenham... It's
not his style, it's not his character.
I don't think it is, but football managers are often cut from the same cloth and they get very easily influenced. The other day we were hearing Steve Cooper bitching and moaning about needing players. This is the same manager that a year ago was ever so grateful that he was kept in a job, and ultimately milking the endless support of how many players it had brought in for him. So they are capable of pivoting. I just think that Tottenham are going to be surprisingly better than a lot of people think.
Okay.
And that's not because I've got some vested interest in Daniel Levy. It's not because I'm his glove puppet.
But that's because without Kane, because it gets sorted in the end, one way or t'other, but with Postecoglou.
Listen, losing Kane is a massive wrench. Losing Kane and that quality is a massive wrench for any football club. But it's about what you do next. Yeah. Kane is gone. Yeah. They've got top money for him. They've got a lot from him over that period of time. and disappointingly he's gone. But Tottenham Hotspur have got a balanced books like every other football club. They've got to meet financial fair play obligations, and they've also got to give this guy some tools, and that money comes from somewhere. They don't have an Arab benefactor. They don't have some ridiculous private equity business that's throwing money around like it's going out of fashion. They have an order in place, and some will like it, some won't.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.